Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Daniel Kurkowski from VSM Commercial. I'm joined by Rafik Moore.
Hello, everybody.
And we have Goran Vejzović.
Hello.
You may notice we are in Lower Town in St. Paul at the Octofish restaurant. It is awesome. Rafik and Goran are talking about discipline, the discipline it needs to be serious business owners like these two. You can't miss it. Hey everyone, and welcome to another MinnesotaDeals podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Kurkowski, joined as always by Rafik Moore with Caspian Group.
Hello, everybody.
Today, you may notice we have a third guest who you've seen on other podcasts. He's got his mic over here. He's ready to drop some beats and rap for everybody.
Right. I realize that I'm a third wheel because Isaac doesn't have a stand for me. He said I have to actually do manual labor to get my point across. But thank you guys for having me.
You're so privileged.
I feel like I'm being interviewed by you right now. Like, hello?
So, first of all, where are we?
We're in the Octofish restaurant in Lower Town.
A marketplace.
Yeah.
It's
kind of like right across the street right there?
No, the Saint Stadium.
The Saint Stadium?
And the farmer's market right here.
Farmer's market? So
There's a brewery just over here. We'll have some footage that it's going to be fantastic.
It's just another reason why I love St. Paul.
Yeah, and it's 4 blocks from our office, Goran.
The breweries in Minneapolis have opened 10 years ago.
Hey, you know what? That's Minneapolis. It's the same. We like the slow growth. Okay,
Yeah, slow and steady wins
slow
the
and
race.
steady, exactly.
Right. You guys stay slow and steady.
Thank
Great.
you guys for having me. I'm super excited. I may have to jet out early because I got some other appointments that I have to tend to.
Give us one of these.
Correct. I will.
Perfect.
All right.
So today we wanted to talk about something that's very important, near and dear to all of our hearts, which is discipline, which I say as I hold a scotch in my hand.
That's
so,
apple juice. Apple juice. Water juice.
But discipline is one of the hardest things to get excited about. It's very hard to get excited about talking about, and even worse about implementing into your life. But it's something that's so critically important. That's what separates, the person who's in shape from the person who's overweight, the person who's successful in business from the person who never really gets started, the person who pays lip service to performing some sort of activity. And I think a lot of people get caught up in that world of trying to feel busy, trying to look busy, seem busy, but they're really not that busy. And it's because they don't have the discipline the productivity. But having the discipline to structure your day and do the things that you don't necessarily want to do, that's what makes all the difference.
I think that there's levels of discipline, and you can be disciplined to a point and be mediocre or better than average.
I don't like the fact that you looked it over here when you said mediocre. So let's redo that again.
The discipline, I'm surprised. I've sort of started my workout routine. I used to work out, I go to the gym, I'm on the phone a lot. I do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And before you know it, nothing's happening. I thought I'm working out, I thought I'm in good shape, but then I hired a personal trainer, and then I hired another personal trainer. I have 2 of them right now.
You have 2? One for the upper body, one for the lower body?
No. And it's a whole different ball game with the level of discipline and how they push you to the limit. So like you do your reps, and when it starts hurting, that's when the guy starts counting, and your mind plays tricks on you because your mind's like, no, I don't want to do it anymore. And I'm like, listen, when do I stop? He's like, wait. All right, now 1, 2, 3, and muscle failure.
Yeah.
And if you apply these things in real estate or in any career, and really try to improve your game, I think that's where, I know a lot of guys that make $100,000 a year. In real estate, it's not that hard to make $100,000. Then I know guys that make $300,000 a year. And then there's people that make, 700 and $1 million, and that's the level of discipline where you have to be extremely on point, focused, and be charging forward every day and producing a lot of results, not being busy and not being productive. And so how do you create a lifestyle and focused and disciplined approach to your career where you could deliver those results? That's what I want to talk about today.
Yeah, and I think,
we all have the same hours in a day, and you just mentioned, these 3 individuals that have $100, $300, or $1 million yearly income have the same 24 hours.
That's right.
What are they doing
different?
Or what are they doing different?
All of
What's
them
the
are
other
busy.
guy?
One thing that I
everyone
noticed-
is busy all the time.
That's right.
One thing that I noticed that Rafik does really well is there's no talking about and there's no time wasted going. Like if a room needs to be cleaned, you're not going, maybe I'll do that later. You're just like, let's go, boom,
get it done.
and do what you're doing.
Execution.
There's no
Execution.
time wasted.
Right.
Before I even know what's going on, you're off doing something else, and I'm like, whoa, hold on, what's going?
It's clean already. The room's
Right.
clean. We're not talking about it.
So Jordan Peterson, he's a philosopher. He's a psychologist. Very, very smart individual. He wrote a book, and it's called The 12 Steps. Something about get success in your life. But what he posits is that the first thing that everybody needs to do who's not happy, not satisfied with their life, is wake up early every day and make their bed. And clean their room.
Hey, wait! I said that on a podcast.
Yeah, that's maybe your alter ego, right?
Well, maybe. I do make my bed every morning.
Absolutely.
That's my first win.
But it's
I'm married.
It's a
So I have
small.
a wife that helps me with that chore.
Nice.
I leave early though, so in my defense, I'm not a six or anything.
that's the thing.
I leave at
the
6 to
last
gym.
person in bed gets to make it up.
That's right.
Right.
Exactly. So
But like anything, right? It's one small piece of discipline that you're injecting into your day, and you're starting your day that way. We talked
and you
about
set your day in that manner.
we talked about on Monday Motivation, not getting on your phone until you're leaving the house, because
That was a challenge.
Yeah.
That
It is, because you wake up and I don't know about you, but every time I look at my phone right away, it's usually there's some bad news that comes in the morning, because
things you got to handle that could wait, but you don't.
Well, discipline has many faces also. Discipline in pursuit of a particular mastery. You can't be a master. You can't particularly go and become a master in real estate while pursuing a career in logistics or in soybean business or in solar power.
It's all right. He took it. He took a dig at me and himself as well. So I'll
So
accept.
my point is, the mastery has to be achieved in a particular and discipline of sticking to one thing and really becoming a master and really good at it, I think is what will make you ultimately the guy that will swing to the fences and get that $1 million or more in income from fees or flipping properties or whatever.
So what's the difference in disciplines between commercial real estate and residential real estate? What do you think the key traits are of one person
I think
that's in commercial versus the other one that's in residential?
For the most part, it's the same thing. It's a sales job. And what we do on a daily basis, we sell a product. When you sell houses, your product is $200,000, $300,000, $500,000 product, and you get paid a commission commensurate to your size of the transaction. The beautiful thing about commercial real estate is it gives you that extra zero. You're talking about $1 million, $3 million, $5 million transactions, and the commission is the same, 3%, 2.5%. So we're doing several deals where we have a $2 million deal, 3% commission. We have a $800,000 deal, 3% commission. And if you do multitude of deals in one industry and multitude of deals in a residential industry, for example, it's the same amount of work for the most part, but then you have higher output.
The only disciplinary difference that I see between the two is that there's a little bit more skill that you can build in the commercial world, and you need to be more disciplined and apply that time into the due diligence, because there's a lot of, if I make a mistake on a $200,000 property, there's a good chance that I can write a check and make that problem go away. I don't know if I can do that on a $12 million building the same way.
There is a discipline in going through due diligence, and there's a discipline in pursuing a particular product, not being everything for everybody. We tend to do everything, but our focus is distressed assets. We don't really try to go after, $50 million apartment buildings, because it would be a different business model altogether.
Right.
But if you're talking about a distressed, Farmington Mall, we bought it. We know what we need to do. We need to go and clean it up. We need to paint it. We need to fix it. We need to lease it. We created value. We understand what goes in and out of it. And so within our area of expertise, this is exactly what we do. We go into a warehouse building, same thing, clean it, paint it, remodel it, lease it, create value, refinance.
And I think that was one of my biggest mental hurdles when we first discussed commercial versus residential. What you were telling me was like, hey, you've done property flips, you buy, fix, sell, buy, fix, hold. You're you told me like the basics are the same. Essentially. The numbers are bigger, but it's essentially the same thing. It's just about getting over that fear or mental hurdle to get into something that's bigger and better, but apply the same principles that I've already applied in like industry, which is how you started as well.
And discipline in procurement of knowledge in the industry is important. So you sell a house. Selling a house has a particular amount of information that's involved in inspections, roof, age, size of the house,
right,
per square foot. And in commercial real estate, it's the same thing. But if you become really, really good at that game, if you will,
right,
game of real estate finance, you can absolutely do the same thing and make 5-10 times more, results, or you can procure more profitability as a result of being in that industry. So not to push you guys, VSM Commercial is a business.
VSM,
not to push you guys more into commercial real estate, but I think I'm sold on the commercial.
I'm a believer without question. We just have two different aspects of the business. VSM Real Estate, where we do residential, and now it took Daniel to be the catalyst for our thrust into VSM Commercial with your guidance on really how to do it, and he's doing it right. So it's not that I did believe in everything you said. I was like, but who's going to be the person? Who's going to be
driving that bus?
Who's going to be driving the bus? And here he is, Kurkowski Corporation.
And as we talk about discipline, I think the hardest thing to do is to develop it when I think that our lives, a lot of times, there's the path that we know we're supposed to be going on, and you orient yourself out, and you're like perhaps a few degrees off what you should be doing. And the older you get, you continue down that path, and the further you are from that main line, right? Like you start here, now there's a big divergence. So when you're at an age where, when you're not 18, 19 like Isaac, and it's really easy to course correct, how do you do it? And to me, its first step is you need to be very, very honest with yourself about who you are and where you're at.
And where you want to go.
I met this guy today, really, really smart, interesting guy just getting started in real estate. His analogy was, I was in a hotel room and there was the map of the building. This is where the exits are. And he's like, and that's a really great map. But the most important part of that map is the you are here part, which is understanding where you're currently at. That's going to be what allows you to know where you need to go. So when you're living your day and you're, kind of being self-reflective, evaluate, am I making the disciplined choice right now? Am I making the correct decision? And I think I can honestly say I catch myself 20, 30 times a day making the wrong choice. Half the time I'm usually able to course correct. Half the time I'm like, I'm going to bed, I don't care, I'm tired. But, number one, identify where you're at. Be honest with yourself. If you know someone like Goran, like Rafik, like myself even, where, we tend to be more comfortable being very direct with people, ask them what they think. We'll tell you exactly what we think your problem is, right?
Absolutely.
So I was going to ask you, as far as, Daniel's progression into commercial real estate, what you see that were key points that made him a success in this business in such a very short time. From somebody who was like, hey, I want to learn more.
To do, yeah.
Right, but
more
we've had this conversation, you and I, Rafik, about, you think it would be easy because you can just tell somebody, just follow my direction, and all they have to do is copy paste. Right. And, but so many people don't do it.
So guess what? Everybody wants to get to the summit, but not everybody wants to do the climb. Everybody wants the results, but not everybody wants the hard work that's involved with it. It's not easy. It's not easy to be working 18 hours a day. It's not easy to be working on weekends. It's not easy to be learning and reading books every single day, because there's other things like TV, like games, like other stuff.
What was the discipline that he had and has to be able to be successful in that in commercial so quick? Obviously, you're in it.
The number one thing I think that Daniel has that many people might or might not have is the drive. I mean, he is like a bulldog. He knows what he needs to know, and he goes for it. Now, the other thing is he recognizes what he doesn't know. I meet a lot of people who think they know everything. I was that way back when, and that's when you make a lot of mistakes, because the blind spots totally take you out of the game, possibly can take you out of the game. So being driven to succeed, but also staying humble and recognizing that you don't know everything and listening is where I think Daniel does a great job. I mean, he's an intelligent fella.
Right.
But
Thank you.
the drive, discipline, and commitment. I mean, Daniel can go and open 5 other businesses right now, and then I'll say, Daniel, you're an idiot. You're not gonna get anywhere. But if he says, listen, I want to be doing commercial real estate, and for 5 years, don't touch me, I'll get there.
Right.
I know Daniel is gonna make $1 million plus in fees or in equities in 2019. I bet you that he will make that because
I'll second that bet too.
you know what I mean. So. And million is just a number, right? But if you make that target and we talked about it, that's what we're gonna try to achieve, right?
Right.
So
when you started doing commercial real estate, transitioning from residential,
I got lucky.
what was your discipline similar to what his was as far as being?
No, I fell into it. I didn't have anybody who dragged me out of it completely and thrusted me into it. I was flipping a lot of houses at the time, and I bought one building that made me $1 million profit in a matter of 2 years.
Is that when you were like, wait a minute, how many houses do I have to do?
Exactly.
Calculator.
What am I doing?
So that's exactly how it happened. And so now we buy buildings every day or every month, and we are making offers and stuff, and it's exciting because it's the same game. It's like flipping houses. Well, it's flipping commercial real estate. The beautiful thing about flipping commercial real estate, I come to the showing, I'm the only guy. Well, maybe there's another guy that is going to show up, half an hour later. There's no 15 guys walking the property looking at each other.
Especially now. And that's
that's what I'm saying.
That's really how it was. And now we don't even go because it's a waste of time. You have to find deals some other way. But, in commercial real estate.
How nice would it be to walk on the property and know that it's going to be yours because nobody else wants to screw around with it? It's too complex, too risky, too whatever.
Is it is it because it's too complex, or is it just people just don't understand?
I think
and they either see it in residential or they see that 10 million plus apartment building.
The biggest issue that people have, I think, is the disconnect between the what they have available to them financially and what's needed to transact. I mean, I see it everywhere. Recognizing that if you have a deal, money will show up. It's really hard to sort of change that paradigm,
right?
Because everybody who goes to do commercial real estate that I know of wants to save their way into the first deal. I want to save. I have $200,000. I want to buy $1 million building. Well, guess what? Life happens. It's hard to save $200,000, but I know 100 people who have 50, 100, 200 million dollars in the bank. They don't have time to do it, and becoming a servant for
providing and creating value. I know for the longest time, I'm on a bunch of email lists, like CBRE will send me, hey, here's this apartment building. They don't even list a price. They just say we need offers. So for the longest time, I just thought commercial real estate was like everything was listed, turnkey. You just have to come up with 10 million. But then, since I didn't have the 10 million, I'm like, how else can I do this? And when you and I talked about the value add, that spoke to me just because it's kind of what we do on a smaller scale. Why can't you do it where the big boys are not playing? Because a lot of people that are looking at these 10, 20, $30 million deals are not looking at the commercial real estate assets that you guys are looking, and that's really the value.
Correct. We don't even play in that role. I mean, I look at the 15,000 square foot building today.
Yep.
This building, there's a 95% chance we're going to get it. There's still a slight chance we might not, but verbally, there's a commitment.
Yep.
We're just waiting to sign a contract. I know, based on my understanding of the marketplace, it's a $1.4 million asset. We're getting it for $700,000, $680,000. And it needs $150,000 to clean up, and now I have a tenant in my pocket to get in there. So it's an easy flip, arbitrage, buy, stabilize, hold for cash flow. I mean, it's exciting to go and look at the property and know that, hey, I don't have to breathe anybody's neck or nobody's breathing down my neck to get that asset,
Yeah, and let's look at too, though. I mean, how much discipline it takes to get there, right?
Because let's go back to discipline.
It was a lot of time for you studying the market, understanding what the rents were going to be, understanding what the cap rates in the area are so you know what your ARV is going to be, looking at and analyzing buildings and understanding how much it's going to cost to rehab the building. All of these steps, the 5 deal points that we talk about,
mastery.
It's all experience based, but to get that experience you need discipline, because guess what, probably the first 20 to 100 deals that I analyzed in residential real estate, I didn't buy any of them. I didn't know. And then you have enough, you keep going, you push, it goes a little bit further, and then you walk into a deal one day and you go, well, I know this is a deal. You don't even need to run numbers. You just go, yup, write it up. So really quickly, we'll kind of wrap it up here, but I want to ask to both of you guys who are
I had one more question.
further,
Okay, go ahead.
further in the business than I am, right? It's when you're new, it's easy because you get set on the path where you need to be disciplined, you need to work really, really hard. And then you continue to move up the ladder and you get to a point where both of you are now, where you own businesses, they're successful. Could they run without you? Could you have a living wage based on your portfolios and your businesses? Probably. You wouldn't be in the street starving to death. So how do you keep your discipline? How do you keep your hunger once you've kind of gotten there? Or because everyone's, level of achievement is at some people are happy just making 50 grand a year. How do they maintain discipline and do something more with their life? Yeah.
How do I do it?
Yeah.
I really just look at everything as competition with myself, right? Looking at myself every day in the morning, I'm like in the mirror and saying, hey, are you satisfied with where you're at today? If the answer is no, then I got to keep going. Fortunately enough, my brain is wired to the point where I'm constantly saying no, and I'm pushing myself and propelling to keep going, right?
Right.
So it doesn't matter. Like if magically today, like $1 billion is in front of me, tomorrow I'm going to wake up with the same hunger. How long that's going to keep going, I don't know. But I think a big part of that hunger is the fact that I've recognized what I love doing. And the purpose is there. I'm not doing it to, buy a bunch of things that I don't need. It's just about, I generally like being around people like yourself, doing things like the podcast, the vlogs. That is it, right?
Right.
So the finding the true passion and being able to use that as kind of a goal that you can set, whatever you want to achieve is something that, like, I do that every day. And the way to do it is like, hey, are you satisfied with where you're at today? Does that align with your goal? Yes, no. If the answer is no, then you just keep going.
Elevate your game, yeah.
Elevating it.
For me, it's about service, appreciation, and humility. This one morning, I'm driving to work, and I was talking to a friend. My friend is extremely successful. He lives in a 15,000 square foot property on a lake. And I was talking to him, and I said, what are you doing? What are you going to go? He says, you know what? And he's my age. And he says, you know what? I've worked enough. I don't want to work anymore. I don't want to do anything anymore. I'm just going to relax and enjoy it. And something inside of me said, wow, what a selfish prick. Everybody, a lot of people helped you to get there. You have knowledge, you have experience, you have the connections. How many lives can you impact with everything you have? Like right. the money, the connections, the knowledge. How many
Passing it along.
Yeah. And for me, I got to my destination, with my cash flow and a portfolio and stuff. My wildest dreams, I passed it 3 years ago. And to me, I just enjoy developing talent. I enjoy doing things like these where I can share experiences. Now, do I enjoy doing deals? Yes, it's just a part. It's like playing a game. It's like playing chess, playing poker. It's a part of the game, but I don't need the money today. And having said that, the economy tanks tomorrow, all that debt and stuff, we might go back and start maintaining properties and cleaning. But today, with everything that's great, I've been very blessed. And what drives me is desire to develop and help young bucks who came into this business, who want to get there, who want to achieve something, and that sort of ignites my fire.
Yeah.
One
thing I was going to ask Rafik is on our topic, how much does patience play a role in actually closing on a deal? Because everybody's got a bunch of deals everywhere, but I feel like having the patience, because deals in the commercial real estate take such a long time to develop, and then you always have to be kind of guiding it along to the finish line, that I feel like a lot of people, especially with, the lack of patience and, looking at videos or listening to this podcast maybe for 30 seconds and tuning out.
Yeah.
That's something that you have an abundance of, which is why you're successful, and maybe why a lot of people that are trying to get in this game is that the reason why they're not successful is because they don't have the patience to see that deal through for 6 months or a year.
If you think about patience, endurance is sort of correlated with discipline. We look at deals all the time. Everybody wants to do a deal, and we have a guy that started with us. He wants to do every deal that comes. Well, We're not in the business of doing everything. We're in the business of doing deals that win. Now, if you do, out of 100 deals you look at, if you do 3 deals and you can make 6-7 figure income, that's what counts versus doing 10 deals and making very little. In my residential flipping days, I remember increasing my numbers to 60 just to prove to myself that I can do it. And I was like 30 grand a piece, 60 houses, $2 million. I didn't make $2 million that year.
Right.
It was a lot of headache. I lost money on a third of them.
Right.
Yeah. To recoup. So my income stayed the same. The headaches increased. So patience is a very, very important aspect of being in any industry, but commercial real estate especially, because the cycles are so much longer. It takes 3 to 6 months to close a deal sometimes.
We just signed a long-term agreement with a group, and I can't go into too much because of our confidentiality agreement, but the average sales cycle per deal on this, and this is going to be many of these per year, is 240 days.
Yeah.
That's a long time to wait for your paycheck to come back.
Right. That's a long time to wait, and a long time to wake up every single morning and saying like, hey, can I make it to the next day? Can I make it to the next day?
But if you have that deal and you don't sit and wait for it to happen, you keep going, and keep creating all those properties, that's when you make it big. Yeah. Because you basically create all that value but don't harvest it.
Most people if they were in your position.
This is a 15-minute podcast, right, Goran?
It doesn't matter. We're going. I need to get all the questions answered.
Please, go.
Most people would not have the patience because they would just be too ignorant because they've already achieved something. You're like, you know what? I don't care. Either what keeps you at your peak, even though you've achieved, what a lot of people consider great success.
To me, I've been doing a lot of soul searching and trying to understand what's going on in my head.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm messed up. I think I'm crazy. I think it's my... No, seriously.
Yeah, I know.
The mic's still on, by the way.
No. Like, it's my desire to prove to myself, to the world, that I'm good enough. I think that's what my underlying subconscious problem is. And so...
is it a problem? It's a gift.
It's actually a gift, to be honest with you. It's a gift. But it's... because I can stop... Like today, I was proud. I went to work at 10 because I went to gym at 9 and I had a meeting, 7 o'clock breakfast meeting. But instead of going to work and rushing to get stuff done, I'm like, no, I'm going to go home, going to shower after the workout and go to work at 10. To me, I can't afford, mentally, I can't afford to do that, even though I don't need to work.
Right.
When on the weekends have nothing going on, I feel so guilty that I haven't done anything productive. So I got to read a book. I got to do something to improve myself.
I feel that.
You know what I mean?
I feel that.
Crazy.
No, I think, you mentioned, with your purpose and the need and the want to mentor others. If you stop, none of that would be accomplished. Therefore, your purpose wouldn't be fulfilled.
The sense of fulfillment, exactly.
So that's why you got to keep going, man.
Yeah.
Here we go. 15 minutes. All right, now you can take it.
There's just so many different opportunities, so many options, and I think we'll close it on. I think we've achieved a certain level of success, and once you do that, everyone wants a piece of what you're selling, right? Everyone wants they want to buy what you're selling, and that provides a lot of different opportunities that exist out there in the market that it's really difficult to keep that focus and really narrow in and decide, hey, this is what I want to do. And that's really what I'm hoping to achieve and learning a lot from you about doing as well. It's something that you've done as well too. You do multiple businesses, but owning multiple businesses is what you hope to achieve. So that's
it's
different.
so stressful, but then I'm like, I thrive in the stressful factors.
So anyway,
wait until you get kids.
Yeah.
That's the thing that you don't have.
Well, right. That's another thing is that
it takes 30% of your time.
A whole
So,
dynamic.
anyway.
Hang on a second.
Hold on. I thought you had to be out of here. So
I gotta
anyway,
get out of here.
we need to be disciplined. We need to stop talking.
I'm shutting my mic off
Thank you
here.
for listening, everybody. We'll see you guys next time.